For decades, this agency had embraced community outreach programs. There were a number of programs that we're involved in. We really wanted to establish that strong relationship with our citizens. But right around 2015, we just didn't feel like we were hitting the mark enough. We wanted to literally hit every single citizen, have that interaction, that communication, that trust. And so the chief and I were able to hire a full-time public affairs coordinator, which basically ensures that we have that resource to constantly be organizing outreach programs and not be affected by call-outs or crime increases and so forth.
We call it renewing our vows with our community. We never stopped caring for them and loving them, but now we get to show them and illustrate that. We tell our officers to get out in the community, stop your car, talk to the person that's mowing their lawn, get to know them and have them get to know you.
I met Chief Lyle through his work. I seen the things that he was doing in the community, which made me feel that he had to care. He has to be a caring person. I had a lot of untrust when it came to police officers, so I showed up at his office.
We had her come in, and you could tell she was very nervous. And I didn't know what it was, so it was just me and her at the time. And when I realized, she said, I've always been afraid of police officers my whole entire life. And she told me a little bit about her upbringing and where she grew up and all, and it kind of broke my heart.
He asked me questions because he really could not understand why I had this great fear. We began to form our relationship from that. He asked me what I did in the community, why did I fear the officers, and I really told him a lot of it was because what I had heard, and if you can't trust a person, you have no communication with them.
So we sat and talked, and eventually there was about 5 or 6 staff members around the table, and we're laughing and just, having a great time. And we've been friends ever since.
I see Chief Lyle in the department. They are always visible to the community. So we feel that if we have more communication with the chief and the community, that we can break the cycle, we can come together in unity, and we can work as one.
There is no doubt in our mind, the chief and I and a lot of our command staff, we give our cell phones out, emails out to everybody. They can call us day or night, and they do. And based on the amount of baked goods that are coming in the front door, and most of our uniform officers can't even go in a restaurant without someone anonymously buying them lunch. So we clearly are getting the positive feedback to show that we're on track and we're hitting the mark.
I just think it's great that we have a police department that is honest, open, and the main benefit that they have to everyone, I think, is communicate. There isn't anybody or any issue that our police chief and our police department isn't willing to communicate about. And as long as you're communicating, you can be successful.
In the 30 years I've been in law enforcement, it has changed drastically. And you just have to move with the changes. It's not about liking the changes or disliking the changes. You just have to move with it. Really what we are accessible. We are completely open. And 30 years ago, it wasn't that way.
When I first started, I was a cable guy, and I just so happened to do a service call at our old police chief house. I have a criminal justice background, and we were talking about would I be a fit for law enforcement. I took advantage of the opportunity. I was invited to the police department to talk to the command staff, and he offered me a position. I was given that opportunity, which I took advantage of, and here I am 15 years later.
Recruiting is different now than it was 30 years ago. We have to proactively go in our community, identify people that want to be a police officer, and then we put them through the training.
I try and seek out individuals that have a heart for law enforcement. If they can find that individual that has a heart to do the job and want to give back to the community, we can teach them how to become a police officer.
The closing of the space shuttle program, things were dark at that time.
I think the first feeling was sadness. After sadness, anxiety, uncertainty, some fear, and that definitely was the main feeling. I think a fear of the unknown.
Now with the privatization of the space program with SpaceX and Blue Origin, it's never looked brighter for Titusville.
We've rebounded tremendously. That was a tough hit, and we took it well. We came back. We're growing. We're thriving. We're striving. And like I said, sometimes I feel like we're a new city, and that's a good thing.